Alright, welcome back to New Zealand. It's the year 2019. We have electric motorcycles. So let's start this year off right with charging problems. I plug the cable in and then it turns on the bike, everything like normal. I'm getting errors, which is always a concern, but I've just been ignoring them. I've pretty much always gotten errors, even with the supercharger version 2, so it didn't really seem like a big deal. But now, eventually the charging light turns off, which means the brain box turned off, and that is a huge problem. And I found out if the brain box is touching the frame at all, I had a whole bunch of like foam and stuff just to separate it, but I'm thinking that the seat bolts may have come in and touched the brain box and then connected it. And so that's why I was getting all of the like isolation fault errors, and that's why it wasn't charging. So now it's charging, no errors, and it seems to be all good. So I'm just gonna wrap the brain box in tons of stuff and see if that helps. So this seems to work for me, just wrapping up the brain box. So if you're getting errors on your dash, maybe try this. Let me turn the bike on and kickstand up, yep. Just to show that the errors have disappeared. Normally there's all these like flashy lights saying, hey, you shouldn't be riding, there's some kind of fault. But all is good now. But I know Tim tried to totally isolate his brain box from the bike and he's still getting errors. So something else might be going on. I feel like if the standard brain box location, like if you're supposed to put it under the seat, it should come with some kind of wrap so it doesn't touch the frame if that's an issue. It seems like that's an issue. Well, that solves my problem with charging at home, but the real question is, can I use the EV-Link fast charging stations, the Mennekes Type 2? This is actually the custom cable that Patrick made. So it's got a Mennekes gun on one side, and that goes out to 4 Nutric connectors. And I know, I only have, excuse the electrical tape, temporary cover. I only have 3 inlets, Nutric inlets on the bike. So why do I have 4 Nutric connectors? Well, I'll tell you. This is so that I can use 3-phase stations and also single-phase stations. So 2 of these, the ones with the white tape, those are both linked into the same phase, and then the other 2 are just linked into the other 2 phases. So if I ride to a 3-phase station, each one of these goes into each phase, and these are connected to each 3 chargers, so 1 charger per phase. But if I go to a single-phase station and it's hooked up that way, then I can only use 1 charger, which is kind of ridiculous because a single-phase station is 7 kilowatts, so I could potentially use 2 chargers. So if 2 of these are linked into 1 phase, then I can use 2 chargers at a single-phase station and also use a 3-phase station. It's like the best of both worlds. So this cable is freaking amazing. The only question is, will I actually be able to use those EV-Link stations? Let's go find out. Okay, I'm back at the warehouse to seek my revenge on the EV-Link charger that has never worked.
And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Alright, here I am at the warehouse at the EV-Link station. This is the station that they're setting up all over New Zealand. They're installing one of these, which has 2 ports actually, at each warehouse in New Zealand. It's super cool. And they're 22 kilowatts each side. So I could potentially plug in and get full power, like all 10 kilowatts. The problem is, we haven't been able to use them yet. Basically what happens is, you plug in, it ramps up the charging a bit, and then it charges for maybe 3 minutes, and then just shuts down. So the theory was there was a ground problem. So I thought wrapping up the brain box might help since all my errors went away, but it still just shut off. So the other idea was that there was a problem with the grounds from the chargers. So it was tripping the GFI, the ground fault interrupt, like that was kicking in because it saw some issue, and so it was, I don't know, it was either too sensitive or there was a problem with the chargers. So I unplugged the grounds from the chargers just to see if that worked, but the same thing happens. It's still about 3 minutes, shuts off. So this is a huge problem because this is the main AC infrastructure in New Zealand, and so like other than this, there's just campsites, and those are limited to 2 chargers. They're limited to like 7 kilowatts, and yeah, this is really bad. I don't know what to do. This kind of I don't know what this means for the future of my bike if I can only use 2 chargers. I guess this isn't a really happy ending to this video. I just need to find better places to charge, I guess, and rethink my charging situation. Yeah. So thanks for watching, and good luck out there.